All right. Well, hi everyone. My name is Vrugtehagel, and I'll be doing a talk about Vento. Um, First of all, a little bit about myself. Uh, I like Eleventy. That's why I'm part of the Eleventy community. I like Vento. That's why I'm doing this talk, and I like programming in general, and that's really all you need to know. I don't really do social media. I scroll Mastodon sometimes, but I do have a website, which is a bit boring right now, but here it is. Uh, in this talk, I want to talk about what is Vento briefly, then why do I think Vento is good, and then we'll do like a live demo of migrating some templates to Vento to give you an idea. Okay, so first of all, why do I care? Well, it's all your fault, really. Um, the Eleventy community mentioned it quite a few times. So eventually I caved and I digged a little bit deeper, and then I wrote a post about what I found. And then I was a little bit critical, I'll admit that. But a lot of the issues I mentioned were addressed within a few days, so it was really great to see that. And so I got quite excited, and I started using it and contributing a little bit. So that's a bit of the origin story. But what is Vento? Well, in short, it's a JavaScript-based templating engine, so a replacement to Nunjucks or Liquid.js, something like that. It's created in 2023 by Oscar Otero. It replaced Nunjucks as the default templating language in Loom 2, which is another static site generator for Deno. And it defers most of the syntax to a language most web devs already know, which is JavaScript. So that's kind of why it's easy for web devs to get into. So why would you pick Vento over Nunjucks or Liquid? Well, as I've mentioned, its primary strength is JavaScript-based. So you don't really have language-specific restrictions, like doing complex logic in Nunjucks or Liquid is always a little bit awkward. It's also async friendly by design. It compiles to regular JavaScript, so it can do async stuff just fine and doesn't need like special tags or edge cases to deal with. Like Nunjucks, I think, has async if, and macros don't really work well with asynchronicity. So that's another thing. And it's also robust compared to other JavaScript-based alternatives. Like EJS, for example, is effectively the same concept where it's just JavaScript templating, but edge cases like delimiters inside strings or things like that are not usually handled that well, and Vento does do it quite well. But of course, there's more to it than just it being JavaScript based. So let's go through a few more reasons why I think it's good. First one, active maintenance. Vento 2 just released a few months ago with a bunch of cool updates. Oscar is very receptive to feedback and ideas, and he responds quickly, which I should emphasize is not something you should expect from open source software, but it's nice anyway that it's an active community. I think compared to other languages, this is quite nice to have because Nunjucks, I think, hasn't had an update in ages, and there's now talk of Nunjucks 4 or something like that, but it's kind of stagnated. Liquid.js, the maintainer is actually quite active, but the language itself doesn't really evolve beyond the original specification. So it's kind of stagnated in that sense. And Vento is open to new ideas, and I think that's great. It's also not HTML specific. Most templating languages are not HTML specific, but some of them are, like Pug. So you can embed Vento into any language, like you can generate a robots.txt with it or sitemap. You can pre-process Markdown with it, or you can generate any any type of file with it, really. Integrations is another big plus. It has editor integrations for VS Code, NeoVim, Sublime Text, which I made that plugin, Zed, Nova, and we have a WebStorm plugin in development. And there's a formatter in dprint, which is built into Deno natively, behind the flag though. So that's pretty nice to see. The original reason I didn't want to use Vento is because it didn't have a Sublime Text plugin. So eventually I just kind of thought, okay, I can make one and then benefit from all the other all the benefits of using Vento, you know. Performance, it's also quite fast because it compiles into regular JavaScript. So compared to Liquid and Nunjucks, which are kind of on par with each other when it comes to performance, Vento compiles about 2 to 3 times faster than Liquid and Nunjucks, and rendering is like 100 times faster. It's basically just executing some JavaScript, which obviously engines have optimized the hell out of. So overall, it's about 5 times faster for a template that renders once. And if you have a lot of templates that render multiple times, like layouts or includes, then this performance improvement grows bigger. It's also lightweight. It has no dependencies, a relatively small code base. So it's pretty low cost in terms of download speed. If you have a complicated GitHub Actions or whatever, it doesn't add much time. And there's a decrease of NPM supply chain attacks, which is a little relevant these days. So that's nice. Also has an Eleventy integration, which obviously is very important to the Eleventy community, which is maintained by Noel Fort. He also great person, very receptive and very responsive. And the plugin basically hooks everything up, shortcodes, filters, and all the other good stuff that you would expect. So it just kind of works out of the box. It's very nice. So now let's do a live demonstration, because of what could possibly go wrong. For this demonstration, I thought it'd be nice to show some incremental migration stuff to the Eleventy Meetup website. So we're going to migrate one layout template, which is very simple. And then we're going to migrate the RSS feed. So first things first, we want to install the Vento plugin. So we're going to do npm install Eleventy plugin Vento. There we go. That should have added it to our package JSON. Should be a dev dependency, but it doesn't really matter. Now in our Eleventy.js, we're going to add the plugin, Vento plugin from Eleventy plugin Vento. And then we do Eleventy config, add plugin, Vento plugin. We also need to, or we don't technically need to if we migrate all of our templates at the same time, but we want to do it incrementally. So we're going to add the render plugin, which is built into Eleventy core. So render plugin from Eleventy. We should put the render plugin first. I think the Vento plugin needs to be added as the last plugin. So now that we've done that, we've set up the basis for migrating a template. And we're going to migrate this template. It's a very, very simple template. So instead of include, or first of all, let's rename this to a Vento file, reopen it so we get the syntax highlighting. Then here we get to see a bit of the Vento syntax. So Vento uses the double curly braces for basically everything. It does comments like this. But other than that, all tags are using the same delimiters, which is nicer to write, in my opinion, than the percentage symbol. But anyway, here we have to use the full path. Includes after njk. So here, Eleventy just takes care of making sure that this is rendered as a Nunjucks file, because Vento obviously doesn't render Nunjucks by itself. We don't need to say it's safe, because Vento treats everything as safe, and you have to manually escape things, which is the same as Liquid. Some people disagree over this, but there's a plugin for Vento as well that auto escapes everything. So if you like that, then you can add the plugin to Vento, and that should work. Now that we've done this, we should find all the references to the layout.njk and then change the njks to VTOs. There we go. And then let's try and run the build process, and hopefully there's no errors. There is no errors. Okay, that probably means it worked. We'll go and see the site live later, but for now, let's just assume that did what we wanted it to do. So that was a bit of an introduction to how we could incrementally upgrade our site, or move our site from Nunjucks over to Vento. It's not very syntax heavy, so I thought the RSS feed was a little bit more interesting syntax-wise. So let's migrate that one as well. So first, let's create a new file for this. We'll call it RSS Vento, and then we'll make the permalink separate as well. Feed vento.xml, so we can compare them later, and so that Eleventy doesn't complain that we're trying to output two templates to the same file. Okay, so we just copy the whole thing. So that usually makes migrating a little bit easier. But first of all, I'll go through what this is doing. Here we have some logic that tries to find the latest post, and later it will put that in the updated element. And for the rest, this part generates the different entries for the RSS entries, basically. It does this in a little bit of a strange way, in my opinion, where it sets the entry elements variable to itself and then a little bit more, which is kind of like recursively adding an entry every time. So let's try and simplify this a little bit. So first of all, we'll do this part where we want to find the last updated time here. And we'll do that with a JavaScript block. Vento also, what is wrong with this indentation? There we go. Vento can do blocks of JavaScript with the greater than symbol. So we can write any JavaScript here, and it just gets executed as is, which is quite nice, I think, because in languages like Nunjucks or Liquid, it's quite restricted on what you can do with the flow control, and it's always a little bit awkward, and you have to set a lot of variables and kind of jump through hoops to get it to do what you want. But here we can just write JavaScript, so that's quite nice. Okay, so we're going to find the most recent sanity event. So first we'll sort it. Well, let's do toSorted. Events is toSorted. Then event A and B. And we sort them by when they are updated. A.updated, because that's what it's doing here. Date X is just converting it to a number, but these are already date objects, so we don't really need to worry about that. Now the most recent event is just going to be the first one. Then here we can do most recent. Let's see what it does here. It uses the date filter. So let's just yank that out of there. Vento uses this as a pipe syntax. This is borrowed from a pipeline operator proposal for JavaScript. So hopefully, like, this is somewhat future-proof in the sense that if JavaScript gets it, this would look like regular JavaScript, but it also would work a little bit differently. So anyway, this is how it works. Let's see. This should work. This line is a little bit long, so let me spread it over 2 lines. So I can also talk a little bit about the white space trimming, which a lot of templating languages have. Vento also has it. It does it with a dash. So this white space is trimmed because of this dash, and then this white space is trimmed because of this dash. It's kind of, it works how you would expect it to. Next, let's generate all these entry elements. So we're going to do a for loop for event of sanity events. And the closing tag is /4. That's how Vento does all their closing tags. So /if or /4 is how it closes them, rather than end4 or using parentheses inside of delimiters, which looks a little bit cryptic. It also uses of instead of in because JavaScript uses of. So it's kind of aligned with how JavaScript works. It does have this syntax as well, if you want the index inside of the loop, and it can do the structuring if you wanted to do that kind of thing. But for now, let's just call it event. So here we have to be a little bit careful because since Vento doesn't auto escape things, we have to manually do that. So let's do that there. Slug.current, that's fine. Here we have to make sure to use the correct pipeline operator. Filter should work fine. Here we can simplify this a little bit. Just throw that in there with the pipeline operator. And here we again have to escape things. And then we can safely remove all of that, I think. And that should work. So let's try and build this. That also works. So then run start. Let's see if that works. Kind of click around the site a little bit. It looks like it all works. So let's check the RSS feed as well. We have rss.xml. And then we can check RSS Vento.xml. Oh, why is this not working? It's not outputting these. Oh, it's called feed. Whoops. Feed.xml. This one too. Feed Vento.xml. That looks the same to me. Looks good. Well, that was kind of the whole demonstration. And that was the talk. Thank you all for attending.